Tide Talk Whip is back, baby. Man, was that a crazy, crazy national championship game. One of the best I've ever seen. Anyway, let's get into a quick recap. First half stats, Jalen Hurts was 3 of 8 for 21 yards. We were doing nothing. He had 47 yards rushing. The game was stalled. Nothing was happening. We were doing okay on defense. Not great because they had a 13-point lead on us. So we were not getting sustained drives. The defense was getting gassed. I had said this to my Alabama text group all week. You know, if I'm Brian Daboll, because of what I saw against Clemson, Mississippi State, and especially Auburn, you know, Tua, we'd only seen him in limited practice versus Vandy, which was not great competition, but he has an arm. He's a gunslinger, and he can run. So I'd get plays designed to get him in the game because if you're stalled out, you play Hurts in that second half of the game, we lose, period. You know, and I called it 2 weeks ahead of time. A lot of people that I knew, a lot of analysts were kind of saying that's not even an afterthought. They're not going to put in Tua. That'll never happen. Well, as luck would have it, let's go ahead and recap after Tua got in. Early on, you could see there was a spark in the team. They had more confidence in him. He was a gunslinger. He slung a few passes downfield that were almost caught. Probably should have been. I'm sure the receivers were caught off guard because the ball hadn't even got close to him in the first half. No offense to Hurts. We love you, Hurts. But he was having an off night. First series after halftime was 3 and out. Like I said, it was disheartening. I got home, only got to watch the second half of the game. My dad had called me and said, "Look, if Tua doesn't come in, I'm turning the game off. I'm so frustrated. I can't even watch it." Tua did come in, went 3 and out. So the next series, drove down the field, had a 6-yard score to Henry Ruggs. Blew it up. Georgia responded immediately with about an 80-yard TD bomb. It was great. We tried to, technically I think he was out of bounds his back foot, but it was not conclusive evidence. So he scored a quick turnaround TD. So then we get the ball back. Tua throws an INT. He got confused on the pass. He thought it was a pass play, but really it was a run play. Everybody was blocking. So from there, we turned it over to them. Then we went ahead and got the ball back on an INT. Papa Giorgio kicked the 43-yard field goal, and then when he did that, like I said, we went down again, and that was they made it 20-10. Papa Giorgio tried to hit a 30-yarder, hit another 30-yarder, made it 13-20. And then Tua scored a 4-yard TD on 4th down to Ridley. I think he was trying to hit Damian Harris in the back back of the end zone. But if you watch that play again, the defender, I think it was Malcolm Parrish, literally had his arms wrapped around Harris, and it was kind of cool because Ridley took off running, and basically it was an undesigned play with street ball. Caught the ball, touchdown. So like I said, it was street ball. So the score is 20-20. Papa Giorgio. He could win the game with a 17-yard field goal without going to OT. He shanked it. On the night, he was 2 of 2 in some critical situations. We could have won the game without having to go to OT. So, okay, whatever. We go to OT. We sack from, like I said. So, really, 4th down, they kick a 50-yard one field goal. Blankenship does for them. And let me say, Blankenship is one hell of a kicker. I think he's going to have a career in the NFL, it's safe to say. So anyway, it's 1st down for us. We get sacked. 2nd and 26. So we're all Bama fans, myself included, everybody. We're all praying. We're sitting there. We're, just beside ourselves. We're on our knees. We're, doing everything we can do because we know if it comes down to the kicking game, Georgia's won. It's over. So Tua doing what Tua does and what he did all night. 2nd down, 26 yards to go for a 1st down. That's just for a 1st down. Tua looked to the right. He baited the safety, made the safety bite, actually made the DB get caught looking back. So it was one-on-one coverage with Devonta Smith, or Smitty as they call him. They were running a 4-go route, so all 4 receivers were going. Smitty was wide open. Tua saw the play develop, chunked it. He slung a 41-yard TD to win the game. I mean, game ended 26-23 Bama. I mean, it was probably one of the best national championship games I've ever seen, and especially under Saban. I mean, he went into the game knowing his team was beat up, had hardly any linebackers playing, struggling. It wasn't like last year where it was very disappointing when we had, by far one of the best and sickest defenses I've ever seen at Alabama, 2015 and 2016. So this year it was a little bit different, and we scratched and clawed and got our way in there. And I want to thank Ohio State because your loss to Iowa, getting blown out by Iowa, got us there. I want to thank you. And getting blown out last year in the playoffs to Clemson, I want to thank you for that. That's what got us there. So hats off to the Alabama Crimson Tide and Saban. Sometimes I'm afraid to even rewatch the game because the score may change. That's how crazy of a game it was. Okay, let's get into some underclassmen going to the NFL. We got defensive back Minkah Fitzpatrick Jr. We know who's going. Damian Harris. We thought he was going to go. Wind up he's not going to go. He's going to come back. Deron Payne, another junior. It sucks to lose him because he's a mammoth guy, and he's just like Superman on the defensive line. He's leaving early. Calvin Ridley, we knew he was leaving early. Bo Scarborough was a surprise. He's leaving early. But I think that will leave room for, I think you may see Brian Robinson, that freaky back that's like 230, came out of high school running a 4.4. He's almost like a fullback, but he's running back. I think we'll see a lot of him coming this year. Also, Josh Jacobs. I think we're going to see more of him. Ronnie Harrison, he's another guy. He's going to have to go early. So that's another thing. Also, with that being said, the secondary is going to look totally different. So I'm hoping we can go ahead and lure a few more defensive backs in this class. It's kind of imperative for us because if you look at everybody, not only Fitzpatrick and Harrison out of the backfield, defensive backfield are leaving, you also have the transformation as well because Anthony Everett's gone, Levi Wallace is gone, Hootie Jones is gone, Tony Brown's gone because they exhausted their eligibility on Monday night's game. So they're gone. So you're talking about a whole defensive backfield replaced. So we're going to need some of those guys to come in, young guys. I'm praying we got a guy named Patrick Surtain out of Miami because we're going to need some guys to come in. And don't be surprised if you see Saban maybe get one or two defensive backs out of JUCO. It just depends because we're going to have it this coming year. Also, big decision coming up for the recruit in Alabama, highly prized guy, 6'6" guy, runs pretty much faster than anybody in the history of man. No, I'm just kidding. He runs a 4.4, big wide receiver. He's choosing between BAMA, Clemson, and Auburn. He would be a huge get for Alabama. It would be nice to have him. Mike Shula got fired, strangely. It was funny, and the Gus Bus actually picked Bama in the national championship game before the game, which was quite surprising. Like I said, a lot of changes coming in the offseason due to players leaving on that defensive backfield. So hopefully we can find some things and things going on. Now we'll have guys, Deontay Thompson, Xavier McKinney, and Daniel Wright will be mainstays. And you'll have also a rising redshirt senior that could play some time, Johnny Dwight. He could be in the mix. One thing I thought was really interesting, we didn't see a lot of Josh Jacobs, which is a big-time speedster. And Saban gave him a lot of credit in the Mississippi State game for being that spark we needed. I didn't really know this. He had been playing on a broken ankle since week 5, which was crazy. Like, nobody knew that. And that's why I guess he wasn't getting a lot of carries. You were mainly seeing Harris and Bo get most of the carries, and then Najee get some, and then you'd see him get maybe 1 or 2. And later down the stretch, he was averaging about 6. I got to hand it to him, playing with a broken ankle, beast moded out there. Actually, he never missed a game, getting 6 carries in each of the final three games of the season. And he ran it for 8 times in the championship game, or ran it for 3 times in the championship game for 8 yards, which is really cool. So yeah, that's pretty much what's going on with Bama. I'll hopefully do another video tomorrow or the day after. So anyway, I'm going to start doing them on recruiting because that's what's coming up next. Anyway, love you guys. I hope you have a great weekend, and roll Tide.